Big Mike and Hayes Entertainment here. Today's episode, we got an NHL draft pick, Bear Hughes, NHL draft prospect, Graham Sward, and NHL draft prospect, Jake Chiasson. Here we go, fellas.
If you like what we're doing, you hit the subscribe button. Shouts out to the John B. Pub. Go have a good drink on me.
Hey, my name is Bear Hughes. I play for the Spokane Chiefs. I was drafted in the 5th round by the Washington Capitals. I was on the I Only Touch Greatness podcast.
Hi, I'm Graham Sward. I play for the Spokane Chiefs. I'm an NHL prospect, and I was on the I Only Touch Greatness podcast.
I'm Jake Chiasson, play for the Brampton Wheat Kings. I'm an NHL prospect in the 2021 year, and I was on the I Only Touch Greatness podcast.
The number one sports podcast in Vancouver with Ryan Hayes and Big Mike.
Ryan Hayes and Big Mike. I Only Touch Greatness podcast.
To Russell at the blue line, the right side to Hughes. Hughes fires a shot, score! Right side to Zumak. Zumak right circle over to Hughes. Open shoots and scores!
Kelly in behind the Tiger goal. Centering pass. Here's a chance for Chiasson.
Ryan Hayes and Big Mike are taking over the podcast scene in Vancouver. Get down or lay down.
Sent in front by Purple. They score! Quickly in front to Chiasson, who one-timed it home. It's 4-2.
This is I Only Touch Greatness podcast with Ryan Hayes and Big Mike. We are going live.
Good. Jake, Bear, and Graham, thank you guys very much for taking your time and coming on for us today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
One time I ran up on you, Bear. You came for the Giants game, and you were about to get into an elevator, and I was outside waiting to get an autograph, and I ran up on you trying to get in. I got the picture here, too.
Well, I don't remember. Did I sign it for you or not?
Oh yeah, you did. I got the picture.
Nice.
We're going to ask you guys a bunch of questions about hockey, obviously. What made you guys get into hockey in the first place? And did you guys play any other sports? Let's start with Jake and go to Graham and Bear.
Yeah, I think just hockey around our town. Graham will say the same thing. It's pretty big through school and minor hockey. Kind of hockey's the thing that every kid wants to play. And I tried to kind of branch out through other sports. I played basketball through middle school and kind of up until the point where I had to make the decision about what sport I wanted to play. And I think I was always a kid who was trying out new things and playing as many sports as I could.
Getting into hockey, I started at such a young age. I don't really think it was my choice. It was more of my parents wanted to see if I'd enjoy hockey, and that's kind of what I did, and kind of found a passion for it, and that's what I've kind of done all my life. Growing up as a kid, I played lots of sports. I played lacrosse since I was like 5, and then I had to call that quits after hockey got more serious. I played basketball. Me and Jake played basketball together in middle school. I played rugby in middle school and then 1 year in high school. I used to go golfing in the summertime, all sorts of stuff. I was a pretty active kid. I love sports and I love being on a team. So that was kind of something I enjoyed.
And for me, I guess I didn't really have a choice, but I was happy with the choice anyways. I have 2 older brothers, and they both played the game. My oldest brother's 10 years older than I am, so he was playing way before I was even born. And so I kind of grew up in a hockey family. I have a pretty big family. I have 6 brothers, so there's 7 boys in all. And all of us hockey. My dad's pretty involved with the rink in Coeur d'Alene. He manages it out here. So I guess I'm kind of a rink rat. I'm always at the rink all year round. Even during the summer, I'm there quite a bit.
Yeah, I thought I read something that said there's 10 of you.
Yeah, there is. So I have 6 brothers and 3 sisters. Yeah.
Holy wow.
Yeah. And so the rink actually collapsed for 4 years, from when I was 7 to 10 years old. So I missed a couple of years of hockey. So I played a couple of different sports. I played soccer just with this school. And I skated in Spokane a little bit during that time. And I played soccer when 9th and 10th grade, and I also played rugby 9th and 10th grade just for my school, but they were never too serious for me. It was just more for fun. And hockey's always been my main sport.
Well, I think you made the right choice, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's worked out for me so far.
Graham, it's funny you say lacrosse because I coach lacrosse, and we're out in Coquitlam, or actually Port Moody is where I coached. And we'd always play against your brother. And man, did I hate playing lacrosse against him because I coached, right? So he was one of the best players on Abbotsford. So I'd always like have two guys go and play him like right in his face because he was so good, just like he was at hockey, obviously.
Yeah, that's my cousin, but yeah, he was.
Oh, is it? Oh, I thought it was your brother for some reason.
No, Dalton. That's my cousin, but yeah, he was pretty good at lacrosse. That was kind of he was an animal. He didn't really care about too many rules or anything like that. So lacrosse was perfect for him. I remember I went to watch him one time, and the first like right off the face-off, he got the ball, found the biggest kid on the other team and ran him over, and then went and went and scored. And it was just kind of like, oh, this guy's. He was a man child too.
He was a beast, that's for sure.
Yeah, he was.
You guys got any nicknames, and what's your favorite jersey number and why?
Yeah, I'd say kind of all the guys on my team call me Chaser. Pretty normal, I guess, hockey name to throw an ER on the end of it. But no, and I think growing up, I've never really had a year where I haven't been 19. And no, I was lucky enough in Brandon that I didn't actually pick it. When they did a jersey reveal before my first game, they showed that it was 19, and kind of, I guess I knew I was following after Patrick, who had been there wearing that number. So it was a bit of pressure there. And they said it's a big number in our organization, but I was happy to get it and kind of continue wearing it.
Hughes, you want to go?
Yeah, sure. So my nickname is Bear. My real name is actually Cassius. We don't really know where I got the nickname Bear. I've had it ever since I can remember. The only one that calls me Cassius are school teachers or when it's official. So everyone knows me by Bear. That's how I introduce myself. In the locker room, I have a couple different nicknames, Hughesy. And then Graham calls me Bear Cub. So there's a little bit of variety there. But yeah. I don't know where he got this, so we have a variety of nicknames.
Yeah, I read some story too that someone like asked your mom like where you are with your real name, and she's like, "Who? Where? Who?"
Yeah, no one really calls me Cassius, so it's kind of hits different when someone does.
So my nickname is they call me Dizzle. I honestly. There's a bunch of different ways it could have came up. I honestly don't know where it started or how it kind of came about, but guys on my team call me Dizzle. So that was on the back of my Hockey Fights Cancer jersey we got to pick a nickname to put on there. So the boys decided that that's what would go on the back of mine. So yeah, Dizzle, but most people, if they're kind of close to me, they just call me Sward, or couple coaches call me Swarty, the typical hockey nicknames. Yeah, and then jersey number, I've kind of bounced around. I've been all sorts of different numbers. I've been 4, 13, 7, 9. Yeah, I've been almost every number in the book since I started playing.
Yeah, this one's for all of you guys. You guys have a favorite movie or sports movie?
Oh, I don't know. I got to think of one here.
Okay, somebody else go.
I don't know if I'd say it's a favorite, but one that I watched quite a bit growing up was The Rocket. Maurice Richard, and it had a pretty interesting story. And I guess if I had to say a favorite sports movie, I'd go with that one.
That's the first
good
time
choice.
First time we heard that.
Yeah, it's the first time we've heard that. It's a great choice. I didn't even think of that one.
My favorite sports movie would have to be probably Slapshot. I don't know. I think it's pretty funny. The Hanson brothers crack me up. So just how unrealistic some of it is, and stuff like that. I think it's pretty funny. It's
Yeah, that's one of our
most common answers.
yeah,
That one.
that and Miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably Mighty Ducks for me. Pretty, I guess, pretty cheesy at sometimes and funny, and it's kind of cool to see a movie about a little, I think, Pee-wee team or whatever it is. You don't normally see that level of hockey in film, so. No, I probably one of the first sports movies I got into when I was a kid because I could relate to them and kind of the age that they were at.
Yeah, I definitely love those ones. I actually think they're making a new one.
Yeah, I heard something about that. I haven't really with all this kind of COVID, they've obviously films have slowed down and didn't really know what was going on with it. But that'd be cool if they did.
Hey, Bear, I hear there's an interesting and unique story about how you made it to the Dub. You mind telling us?
Yeah, so growing up, hockey's not very big in the Coeur d'Alene area. So I never played a very competitive level growing up. I played for the local team. I was actually coached and ran by my dad. So I started playing hockey when I was 4, and I played for the same club. It's called the Cristeros Hockey Club. I played there till I was 16. And even though it wasn't the highest level of hockey, I was still developing quite a bit as a player just because I was on the ice so much. Since my dad ran, I was able to skate with every age group. Playing, I would play up with the higher levels just so I could play a higher level of hockey. And then as I got older, our team started to get a little better. So we actually started playing some higher level hockey. We played against Spokane's better teams, and we played against the Everett, Seattle teams a little bit. And then my 17-year-old year, I went and played for the Spokane Braves, Junior B in the KIJHL. And it's a place that both of my older brothers played. So we knew I was going to a good spot. We knew the coach there. I was going to develop well as a player. And I really exploded that year. I had quite a few points. And I started talking to the Chiefs, I think, beginning of October. And they ended up listing me a couple weeks later. And I practiced with them a little bit. And I ended up signing a contract with them, I think it was the beginning of January. So after that, I was practicing with them whenever I could, still playing for the Braves. And then after our season ended with the Braves, I went up and joined the Chiefs for the end of their season and into the playoffs. And then that summer, I kind of knew I was going to be on the team going into training camp. Had a pretty good camp, and then I was able to make the roster and played a full first year in the WHL as an 18-year-old. So it's not a very common path, but I made it there eventually.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
hard work.
That's hard work. And we heard Tyler Johnson had a little part of it.
Yeah, for sure. I've skated with Tyler since I was 11. He's from Spokane and he moved to Coeur d'Alene. And so, at first when I was younger, I'd just be passing him pucks, and I'm guessing I was more annoying than anything out there. But as the years have gone by, I've developed into a better player myself. So now we can actually go hard against each other in the corners, and we're both centermen, so we can take draws against each other. And, when I was 15, I think Tyler talked to the chief scouting, Chris Moulton at the time, and told him, you should look at this kid. He doesn't play the highest level of hockey, but I think he can play there eventually. And so he kind of got my name out there for me, and they invited me to camp. So I owe that to him for sure.
Nice. I like that story. That's awesome. Yeah, he's a great player.
And then it only takes one person to help you out to get there. So.
Yeah, for sure. They often say it's who you know.
Exactly. Graham, drafted 17th overall to the Chiefs. Describe that feeling and take me back to that day.
Oh, wow. That feels like a long time ago, but it wasn't. Yeah, I was kind of I wasn't quite sure on where I was going to go. I talked to a couple teams. Like some guys had showed interest, stuff like that. The same kind of draft day thing that a lot of kids go through. My biggest goal was just to get drafted higher than my cousin. That was kind of my goal. As a kid, I always looked up to him. He was kind of the big dog of the family. He played right there, almost at home. I used to go watch him almost every weekend. So that was that was pretty big for me. I wanted to go higher than I think he went 21st. So that was big for me. I wanted to go higher than he did. And woke up, kind of just ate breakfast, wasn't planning on going to school, depending on how the day went. So I took the morning off. Heard my name get called. You know, I heard a bunch of my teammates at the time. They also got called. I think that team that I played on, we were pretty good that year. So I think we broke the record at Yale Academy for most draft picks in 1 year off one team. So it was pretty cool. You know, you talk to your buddies, congratulate them, and it was just a great day overall. You know, with myself getting picked and most of my buddies getting picked from like Chaser. You know, we kind of grew up playing together all through the years, and it was pretty cool for us to kind of both get drafted in the first round there. Coming out of Abbotsford, which isn't known as a massive powerhouse in hockey. I mean, usually not bad, but it's not like a Burnaby Winter Club, North Shore Winter Club type of deal. So that was pretty cool for us to kind of get picked, and yeah, and I mean, that was a pretty cool day for me and my family, and one of the days I'll never forget.
Wait, and Jake, what about you? Drafted 15th overall by the Brandon Wheat Kings. Describe that feeling and take me back to that day.
Yeah, no, obviously it kind of started the same as Graham's story there. My brother came over early in the morning from his house, and my dad had breakfast ready for us, and yeah, he's kind of taken in that whole day. It goes by so fast. Like, obviously now it seems like forever ago, but no, I remember kind of playing some NHL with a couple of the guys the night before because couldn't really find a way to sleep. And no, I got up the next morning, and I think the draft started at like 8 a.m. or sometime around there. And I think my name got picked around like kind of 20 after 8. So luckily still had a bit of my day to kind of go on with what I was going to do. And yeah, no, I kind of, a couple of the guys on our team got picked right before me, and then obviously Sward right after. So I kind of wanted to wait till Graham's name got taken before I kind of put my phone away. So I sent him a congrats, and I think it was just special for us. We saw each other later that night, and I think just to know that kind of like to make Abbotsford proud meant a lot too. There's, other than kind of Vertanen and Jolson and those guys, there hadn't really been a guy.
Chase Claypool.
Yes, well, yeah, Claypool now, but no, I think Graham and I met up and got contacted by the mayor and stuff, and no, it was just really special, and all of our teachers were committed to it too. By the time I got to school later that afternoon, they had it up on the projectors, and no, it was just a special day to share it with my family and friends, and I think it was everyone's achievement because so many people have been a part of it, and it was good to kind of finally get my name in the organization and get going.
Absolutely. What was the biggest adjustments for you guys all moving up to the WHL? Let's start with Bear.
For me, I think it was just everyone was so much faster and stronger. But in the KI, it was a totally different game as well. Guys couldn't skate as well, but they were a lot more mean. There wasn't as much skill there. So guys were out there to take your head off most of the time. There was one good line on each team that was pretty skilled. And then after that, it was a bunch of guys that were just trying to play a role. And so for me, when I made my jump to the WHL, I was more of a skilled player myself, but it was adjusting to the speed of pucks on and off your stick so fast. Guys are moving so much faster. And, going into the corner for battles, I had to bear down a lot more than I had previously.
Jake?
Yeah, I think coming from the Canadian Sports School League there, I was kind of looked at as a go-to guy for scoring. And I think a lot of kids go through it in their first year, especially that you're kind of not going to get those scoring chances if you don't lock down your own end. So I think probably stepping into the league and having the responsibility of being on my side of the blue line was biggest for me. My coach, Dave Lowry, obviously did a good job at helping me out, and kind of he's been through it all too. So he kind of showed me the ropes of what I can do to improve my game, and just kind of becoming more of that well-rounded guy that can be used, and not just for offense, but also playing in our own end.
Graham?
Yeah, I'd kind of go with what Hughesy said. Just the speed and the strength of everyone was kind of mind-blowing. Like, you look around and you got guys that got like 40 pounds on you, and they're They're a lot heavier, they're a lot stronger, they're a lot faster. So I think that was the biggest adjustment for me was learning that you're not going to be the biggest guy on the ice and you're never going to be the strongest guy on the ice, but kind of how to still play and be effective, not being the biggest, strongest guy out there.
Do you guys have a favorite road barn besides the Giants?
I think for me, we go to Tri-Cities quite a bit during the year, and it's always fun to go there. It's a pretty big rivalry. Their crowd gets pretty into it, a lot of chirping going around. And they always play Cotton Eye Joe, and guys are standing up, taking off their shirts and being crazy. So it's always a pretty fun game.
They shouldn't be chirping. They've been pretty terrible the last couple of years.
Yeah, they're in a rebuild stage, but they'll bounce back.
Yep.
What about you, Chaser?
Yeah. Yeah, on the East there, I think probably, I don't know, as for arenas in our division, I'd say the Sasktel Center, where the Blades are. It's probably the nicest arena there. I guess you could say the Brandt Center there, or with Regina, but I don't know. I like the Sasktel Center. They have NHL caliber locker rooms down there, and you roll in there, and you're pretty well taken care of by their away staff. And obviously, these guys know the rink better, but I also like playing down in Seattle. We went there once this year, obviously on our west swing, and obviously we were up by 3 goals. We were 3-0 going into the third, but when they potted one on us, it was a pretty electric atmosphere in there. And it's nice to see that so many people care about junior hockey and will be behind a team that strong. And no, it was definitely a cool experience, kind of first electric barn that I'd been in.
Mine would probably I like all the rinks in the US Divvy. Obviously with Tri-Cities we got the rivalry. Seattle, they get pretty into it. But my favorite's probably Everett. They get the cowbells going, and it's pretty nuts in that rink, especially on a Saturday night, Sunday afternoon games. They get pretty wild. So I think that would probably have to be my favorite barn to play in, and then plus I get to see the family after. So that's usually a good trip.
Our common answer is usually Portland.
I could see that. Yeah, Moda Center.
Yeah. Bear, taking back to your first goal in the dub. Do you remember it, and do you still have the puck?
Yeah, I do actually have it in my room with me right now. Somewhere, I don't know for sure, but I think it was my second game. We went to Tri-Cities Friday night, and then we were at home Saturday night. We had the St. Patrick's Day game, and it's always a sold-out barn. I think there are 10,000 plus fans in the arena, and I had a lot of nerves. I had a lot of family and friends going there to watch me play. And I walked into the dressing room, and I looked at the lineup, and I saw I was playing with Jake McGrew and Riley Wood, so I was kind of mind-blown, two really skilled players. And my very first shift, we were playing second line, so we jumped out there, and Woodsy carried the puck into the zone, made a move, puck kind of trickled off his stick, and I was just going to the net, kind of just did a behind the back pass to me right out front. I just got it up as quick as I could, and it went in. And yeah, I definitely remember it. It's one of the highlights so far of playing hockey. It was always a dream for me to play for Spokane, and to score a goal in my first home game was pretty crazy in front of my family and friends.
That's a crazy stat. I like that. And Jake, same thing. Take me back to your first goal, and do you still have the puck?
Yeah, I still have the puck. It was it's actually in Spokane on our state swing, and that was kind of on the power play late game, and Nolan Ritchie, guy I was playing with at the time, kind of carried the puck in the zone and kind of wrapped around the net, and I was kind of over on my righty one-timer side, and yeah, I kind of just feathered it, nice pass through the slot, and I kind of just catch and release one-timer, and yeah, no, I guess it was just a good series of events that opened up the backside for me, and Yeah, no, I still have the puck. It's obviously a moment that I'll remember forever. It's seeing those pucks always get brought up, especially like in the future with my kids or grandchildren. It seems like it's always a pretty memorable piece to like history. And no, I think as much as that goal was special, I think first time Sward and I had seen each other since we left. So I mean, after the game, I don't even know if we talked about the goal. It was more catching up with each other and seeing how we were doing. So no, it was a pretty good night to kind of be back with Graham and obviously get the goal too.
And Graham, yourself?
Mine was when I was 15, I got called up. I think I only played one game that year, but I got called up. First game I got scratched. First time I ever been scratched before. But I was kind of okay with it. I was kind of just in shock of being up there. And then we went into Kootenay on a Friday night, I think, Cranbrook, who's not even a team anymore, and empty barn. I don't think there was a soul in the crowd except for our booster club who made the trip. So I think we beat the wheels off them. I think it was like, I think I scored the 7th goal or something like that in like a 10-4 win or something. But yeah, the puck just kind of came back off a draw, and we had 3 guys going to the net, and I kind of just panicked and shot it, if I'm honest. And it kind of just, the goalie didn't really even see it. It went up over his shoulder, and I didn't even see it go in. I just saw the guy in front of the net put his arms in the air, and I thought he tipped it. So I kind of went over to kind of congratulate him, and someone goes, "Hey, you just scored your first goal." And I was like, "Oh, okay, and sounds good." I didn't even see it go in until I watched the video after. But yeah, I still got the puck, and I still remember it, but I didn't really see it go in, if I'm honest. So
Fair
yeah.
enough. Hey, Bear, you put up 47 points in 61 games. Named Rookie of the Year for the Chiefs. What contributed to that, and how do you look to improve that this season?
Well, I started off the year pretty well. I was playing with Luke Toporowski and Jack Finley, 2 really good players. So I had a hot start, especially October, November, when I was putting up a lot of points. We had an unfortunate injury with Jake McGrew early, but it ended up opening up a spot for me in the top 6. So I kind of took advantage of that. I don't know, it just seemed like pucks were going in whenever I was shooting them. Stuff was just clicking for me. And then we made a trade at the deadline for Leif Matson, so I got moved back to the 3rd line center. And my role changed a bit, I think. I became more of a defensive zone guy trying to shut down their top line. So I wasn't contributing as much offensively, but, I was still growing up. I was always putting up points. So every night I went in with the attitude that I was going to try to get on the score sheet whatever way I could. And during the second half of the year, I didn't contribute as much, but it ended up working out for me. And, playing with good players, everything was clicking.
Yeah, you had a great season. I mean, and yeah, you guys have a great team, obviously. Ty Smith and Beckman, and like you guys are stacked. So it's good players like that. You're just learning every day.
And then we always come watch those games just for to see everybody coming up, and they've always had good talent for the last few years.
It's always nice to see Bear and Bo and Byron battle. I feel like every time you come to Vancouver, it's just you guys are right in each other's face the whole entire game. I love it.
Yeah, he's a really good player, and I love to battle against him.
Hey, Jake, you put up 15 points in 60 games in your rookie season. Good start. How do you look to improve that?
Yeah, no, I think kind of for me, first half, kind of working things out a bit as for obviously being away from home for the first time, playing with new guys, new league. And yeah, no, I had a slow start. And I kind of just sat myself down at Christmas time and kind of a chance to regroup and talk with people from home and my agent. And I just realized that I can give more. And no, I think second half I came back with kind of a different role, obviously another couple injuries, and opened up a couple spots there for a month or 2. And I kind of got that second unit power play and started putting up a bit more points, and kind of majority of my points came in those in that time. So I think it's all about opportunity and working for that opportunity. And hopefully I can step into the league this year where I finished and kind of just take off from where I ended and kind of keep improving in areas that I can.
And Graham, obviously 17 points in 55 games from the back end. Pretty impressive. How do you look to improve that? And it must be nice learning from Ty Smith, obviously, and Philip Kral.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, playing on our D core this year was a treat for sure. We had a lot of good guys back there. Some guys got hurt, which kind of opened up a spot for me, and I started playing more and more minutes as the season went on. Towards the end, I was kind of a top 4 guy playing with Philip Kral there. So Crawler's a great guy to learn from. Him and Smitty are pretty dynamic. And then even Noah King was a shutdown, good 2-way guy. I think he finished at a plus 66. So
wow,
for a defenseman, that's a pretty good stat to have. Yeah, learning them from those guys was definitely something I don't take for granted. They were great guys to learn from, and Smitty kind of showed me the ways, and a lot of those guys kind of took me under their wing, and kind of I tried to take a little bit from each guy. So yeah, and a lot of those points, if I'm honest, were just from moving the puck up the ice, and we had a pretty deep team up front. So if I got it up there, there was a pretty good chance that something good might happen.
Yeah, well, this just came up on the fly, this question. At what age do players start looking for agents?
I don't know. I think my parents did a good job with me, keeping me young while they could. Obviously kind of going through Bantam's the first kind of year that you start talking to people, and I think there's like a deadline where you're actually not allowed to talk to teams until a certain point, maybe February or something of your draft year. I believe it's been so long now where only your agents or like a advisor can talk to these teams. And so kind of going into my Bantam first year, I think I found my agent in that year, and it was more, he just cared so much about me and not only in my game, but how I was off the ice and how I was doing and my schooling. And yeah, he kind of came in and became a second figure outside of my family that I could look to if I needed help and if I had questions. And yeah, no, I think it's a pretty stressful stage for such a young kid to go through and have to make a decision that ultimately affects your hockey career. And so he did all the heavy lifting for me and made it pretty easy for my decision to play in the Western League and where I was going to play and sign.
Okay.
For me, growing up, I had never played in a very big hockey academy like most of these guys, so I had no need for an agent. No one ever talked to me. No one knew who I was. And so I actually didn't get an agent until I think April of this year. So even during the season, I talked to some scouts after the game and stuff, but everything just went through me and my dad. We kind of made the decisions of what I was going to do. And then when it came time to make a decision about an agent, we went with Tyler Johnson and Kyler Yamamoto as their agent, Mark McKay from CAA. So, those two guys that I know personally, and all I had to say was good things about him. And ever since I started working with him, he's done nothing but good for me.
Yeah, mine was kind of like Jake's again. I didn't really look for an agent. I didn't really know that was really a thing, if I'm honest. I remember a couple agents kind of came up to me and my dad, and if I'm honest, my dad's pretty old school, so he kind of told me to hold off for a while. So I didn't have an agent till I did have one pretty early on, but I didn't have an agent till probably the beginning of my second year Bantam. I kind of went to an agency camp in the summertime there going into that year. And, but I never really agreed to anything. He kind of just said, "Hey, why don't you come out and skate? Kind of get to know me and the guys and see what we're all about." So I went out. It was only in Burnaby, pretty close to home. So kind of went out and just kind of met my agent, and yeah, great guy. He's from around here too, so he just lives down there in Langley. Yeah, nothing but good things to say about him. He's helped me along the way, and if I have any questions, he's full of answers. So yeah, it's kind of just someone to lean on if you're kind of unsure of what's going on, or and different things like that. He'll kind of let you know what's going on with our season, especially now with all this COVID stuff going on. So it's kind of someone to kind of help you out, let you know what's kind of going on with the season, where you're at. I know some guys have used them to go to Europe and stuff like that. So I think they're good, and yeah, they kind of help you out, and it's a pretty good thing to have in your back pocket.
Who do you guys mirror your game after? Let's start with Graham.
Whoa. Who do I model my game after?
Or try and play like one or the other.
Oh, wow. I mean, I try to play kind of like a Victor Hedman type style. I mean, you try to play like him, but obviously I'm never going to be Victor Hedman. He's a pretty good player. So, but yeah, I try to play that style, kind of a two-way guy that can kind of help his team offensively and get on the score sheet every once in a while, but not give up any offensive chances for the other team. Kind of be a lockdown guy on the back end, because at the end of the day, I am a defenseman, and that's kind of my job. So I like to take pride in my defensive game and not getting beat and stopping the other team from scoring, but also contributing to my team's success. And yeah, if I'm honest, I'm not a real physical guy. I've never really been a big, like, I am big, but I'm not really thick and not overly aggressive. So yeah, I kind of just play a more of a passive game in terms of that physicalness, but yeah, more of a skilled two-way defenseman.
And Jake?
Yeah, I'd say kind of two guys in mind that obviously play similar to each other is Elias Lindholm on Calgary, and kind of Justin Williams, just retired obviously, but yeah, I think my offensive game has never been too flashy or pretty. I like to use my frame and kind of get in the areas that it takes a big body to get into. And I think modeling more like a guy like Elias Lindholm, he's just obviously this year he did so well at producing, and yeah, he's a guy that people may not look at as the offensive superstar in the league, but his numbers are definitely there, and he's like obviously led their team in goals, I believe. And yeah, just a pretty hard-nosed guy and does a good job at kind of playing that classic power forward offensive style.
And Bear?
Yeah, I'd say there's two for me as well. Being a center, I think I'd say Logan Couture from San Jose is a reliable two-way center. He's pretty skilled in the offensive zone, but at the same time, I think he takes pride in playing a strong defensive game. And for me, that's one thing that I really want to be known for, is being reliable in the defensive zone, being a shutdown center, whether I'm playing against their top line or whoever I'm playing against, PK, even strength, whatever it is. And the other one for me, I think, is Tom Wilson, just because, he's such a gritty player. It's someone who I want to be like. It's a guy that I think everybody on all the other teams, they don't want to play against him just because of his style. And I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that nobody wants to play against, but everybody loves off the ice. So I think those two would be for me.
That's pretty much how I am too. All the other teams hate me, but my teammates love me.
I don't know about that.
Do you guys have any go-to sellies?
Oh, I don't score enough to have a go-to Sally.
Yeah,
I don't
really have a go-to either. I mean, it kind of just happens in the moment. It depends on where you are on the ice or what's going on, so it changes.
Yeah, I think Sully's can vary too, from playing in Regina on a Tuesday night or playing at home against Winnipeg on a Friday. It kind of, you feed off the crowd a bit, and on a busy night you may get the crowd going a bit more than on a Tuesday on an away game. But I think, yeah, kind of don't really think about it, to be honest. Don't really have control. It's just something that happens, and try to make it not look too over the top.
I scored a goal the other game 2 weeks ago, and the goalie just went livid when I celebrated right in his face. I buried it on him, and I stood right in front of him and went, "Whoa!" and like tomahawk chopped him. Like they weren't very happy about it. My usual go-to one's John Cena, "You can't see me."
Hey, Graham, you've worn the Maple Leaf and got named to the U18 selection camp. Congratulations on that, by the way. What's it like throwing that jersey on and representing your country?
Obviously it's a huge honor. Not very many guys get to do it, so I was pretty proud to be able to go and experience that, and it was a pretty cool opportunity to learn from all those guys, and obviously you're surrounded by some of the best hockey brains in Canada. So with your different teammates and your coaches and all the people involved, all the staff, it's pretty cool what you can kind of suck out of those tournaments and those tryouts and stuff like that. Obviously the U18s, we didn't actually have a tryout due to COVID, but even the online seminar, you still learn a lot from them. And yeah, obviously it's a huge honor, and one of those fun times that you'll kind of tell your kids about, and it's probably one of the highlights of my hockey career so far. But yeah, it was a great experience, great time, and I met a lot of great guys and great people that I learned a lot from.
What's the pregame music like? Do you put in headphones, or do you just go with the team?
Oh.
Tough questions here, bud.
I think we have our pretty set music guys on our team.
Who is the DJ at the Wheat Kings?
DJ the Wheat Kings. We kind of get that role taken away from you if you go on a bit of a bad stretch for the team. But I think we went on a 11-game win streak this year, and we kind of found one, Ben McCartney. Yeah, he went around the room and at the start of the year, and pretty good music guy. He figured out what's the style everyone likes and what's a couple songs that you want to hear. And I kind of put together a playlist that we always had running, whether it be before a game or after practice. And yeah, there's a good mix of kind of pump up country and just some laid back stuff that you can relax to after practice. And no, he did a good job at having a good mix and keeping the boys ready to go.
Okay.
Bear?
Usually you go.
I've always just listened to what the team plays, and for us, I usually flip back between Bobby Russell and Leif Matson. They're usually in control of the music, and I just went with whatever they're listening to is usually pretty upbeat and getting the boys going. So, I just went with the flow, and usually they did all the work.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same as Hughesy. I just kind of go with the flow, and whatever Bob and Leaf were playing that day was kind of what I listened to. So, yeah, I'm not a huge music guy. That doesn't really throw my routine off. I don't really pay much attention to it. It's kind of just there in the background.
Hey, Bear, I got to congratulate you, man, on being drafted to the Washington Capitals in the 5th round. What an accomplishment, especially after some say you were completely off the radar to start the season.
Yeah, thank you. Going into the year is something that I didn't really have in mind, and I didn't even think about it till I think after a game in October. I met with a scout, so that's when I kind of first came into contact that it could be a reality. And then over the year, I talked to a couple more, and then the draft got delayed, and so we didn't really know what was going on. But I was definitely excited to hear my name called by Washington.
Yeah, did you know they were going to draft you? Did they talk to you before the draft, or?
I didn't know. I had no idea. There was about 5 teams that I thought I could go to, and they were one of them, but they hadn't let me know.
Any weird questions during the process?
No, they're all the same questions. They want to know about you and your family and hockey and stuff.
Yeah, we just heard a couple of weird ones. One was a burning house. Would you save, if you can only save one person, would you save your mom, or would you save your dad? And another one we just heard was,
I don't know.
what the hell was it? He just told us.
I don't know. You're supposed to remember this shit.
I can't remember. Jackson Coon just told us one. He just got drafted by the Canucks. He just told us one. I totally forgot what it was.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to say to that question.
Yeah. If a GM or scout were to ask, what does Graham or Jake bring to the table?
Oh, that's what.
Oh, I'd say that that I can play a two-way game. And I take pride in my defensive I don't know the word I guess play, but like my how I play in my own end and my assignments and I try to be as coachable as possible. I try to take at least a little bit out of every coach I ever had. When I was a kid, my dad told me you can learn something from every person that tries to coach you or teach you. So I've kind of stuck to that, and I've tried to take something out of everyone. Obviously, with my coach this year, Manny Vivros, being up in the NHL and for a bit with Edmonton, and then Adam Maglio, who was a national champion the year before in the junior A league. I had two pretty good guys coaching me, so I learned a lot this year. But yeah, I'd also say I'm a pretty good team guy. I like my teammates. I like to make sure guys are having a good time, guys are laughing on the bus, in the room, make sure the mood's always high. Obviously, I'm not as talkative this year as I maybe would have been in years past, due to just kind of being a young guy and kind of trying to figure out the league and kind of seeing how the league works and stuff like that, and obviously knowing your role, when to speak and when to talk, and when's probably a time to kind of just let the older guys talk. But yeah, I mean, I'd say I'm a good team guy, and I take pride in kind of making sure that I kind of talk to every guy on my team a little bit and make sure that I know stuff about them, and that they feel that like they have a friend, I guess, in me. And but yeah, I try to be boys with all the guys on my team, and yeah, I just love the team, love the grind, and yeah, I like being around people.
That's the best part's being around the boys.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think for me, probably just kind of a power forward playmaker. I like to kind of get in below the goal line and do some work down there, and get to the quiet areas in the slot in front of the net. They never kind of developed that trait through my coach this year. He kind of said that if you're going to score, it's going to be inside of the dots. And yeah, I kind of embraced that role and found that it's kind of gets the most out of my game is when I'm playing inside. And yeah, no, as for off the ice, I take pride in kind of a leadership role. And obviously, like Swardo said, this is it was different this year. I don't know if many guys want to hear from a 16-year-old, and too often it's more of a kind of a year as a sponge, taking it in from. Obviously, we had an awesome captain, Connor Gutenberg, who was kind of a walk-on guy as a 16-year-old, and found his way onto that championship team coming from a pretty low round draft pick in the dub. And I think if there's anyone that I kind of looked at this year, it was him. And I'd hope my teammates kind of see me as a guy who's always around the fun and always trying to keep it light, but dialing it in and when we need to. And yeah, I'd say I'm just a hardworking guy who always wants to succeed.
Hey, Bear, Jake, and Graham, we can't thank you guys enough for taking your time today for us and coming on the episode for us. We know you guys are going far in hockey, and we can't wait to cheer you guys on for the rest of your guys' careers.
Thank you so much for having us.